92 years old president of Cameroon, President Paul Biya, posted a statement on X, and I am going to read through that statement. It says, our constant actions has been and is to overcome the artificial divisions created by colonization, to decolonize mentalities, to transcend the colonial past, to build and consolidate with Cameroonians, and for Cameroonians, a Cameroon that stands tall and jealous of its freedom. This is a statement posted by President Paul Biya of Cameroon, 92 years old man who has been in power as president of Cameroon for 42 years. Many Cameroonians call him a dictator. This is somebody who has been in power for 42 years and there is nothing he can show up for. And he wrote this particular statement saying that we have to overcome in the artificial division created by a colonization. I believe he is talking mainly because of the crisis that is going on in Cameroon, where certain Cameroonians stood up against marginalization, maltreatment, and ambassadors stood up and say Southern Cameroon must go. And this crisis has been in Cameroon for 8 years, killing more than 10,000 people and 250 villages totally burnt down, with more than 1 million people pushed below poverty line, and millions of people displaced all over the world, wandering in the forest as wild animals. And President Paul Biya, who is a slave to France, came out calling about decolonizing our mentality. I wrote in this book, Positive Mentality for the Cameroon We Want, calling on President Paul Biya to decolonize his mentality, because this is one of the person that after colonization in Africa, if France came back and colonized him, particularly President Paul Biya. Because I'm going to give you a story for you to understand that President Paul Biya is not actually 100% Cameroonians. He was born in Cameroon, but he was colonized, and he has not been decolonized by France, because there was a meeting in Yaoundé that he organized himself, calling his supporter and his friends. They came together in 2019 called the Major National Dialogue, in which all Cameroonians and even international community condemned that meeting. That he called a meeting in order to end the crisis in Southern Cameroon. But from that day, that even all Cameroonians denied that meeting, they refused that meeting, that it was not a dialogue. President Paul Biya have never officially, he has never officially presented the report of that meeting to Cameroonians. He instead carried the report to France and presented it to Emmanuel Macron, who is colonized here, who need decolonization, mental decolonization here. It is President Paul Biya. So if this is your first time on TFA Talking Point, please subscribe to our channel. Share this video. President Paul Biya make a very good statement here. Cameroon is divided because of colonization, because of the atrocity committed by the League of Nations and the United Nations, because Cameroon was colonized naturally or originally by the Germans. And then the Germans were defeated after the First World War. And then after the First World War, the League of Nations took the country Cameroon and gave it to France and Britain. They divided Cameroon into two pieces. The United Nations came and inherited the atrocity of the League of Nations, and then further divided the country, because they allowed Britain to divide British Cameroon into two. And finally, part of it went to Nigeria up to this date. So this is an issue that President Paul Biya is talking about it here. But talking is not doing anything. Doing the things and solving the problem is what we want. You already understood that all other countries in Africa are as a result of a colonization. Many other countries. So what can you do here in order to solve this particular problem? They committed a mistake. They created the problems. We who are Cameroonians, what can we do to solve that problem? I am asking President Paul Biya, because what Cameroonians are expecting concerning this colonial division is for the leader of the nation to propose solution. Not talking about we have to overcome the artificial division created by colonization. How can we overcome it when you are still practicing it? How can we overcome it when you are still practicing it? You marginalize the people of Southern Cameroon. You struggle for 42 years to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon. You maltreated them. That day you made life miserable in Southern Cameroon so that all of them will flee to Francophone region in order to be assimilated. And yet you came to discover that that plan is not working. Then you decided to go the military way. And for 8 years today, this is where we are. And this is a statement coming out from you. You say to decolonize mentality, to transcend the colonial past. How can we, when you are still practicing it, is the question I am asking. To build and consolidate with Cameroonians and for Cameroonians. I don't know which Cameroonian are you talking about, because Cameroonians stood up and say you should not be the president. They don't want you as a president of Cameroon, but you refuse and you remain there. When Cameroonians are angry and passing through a lot, they want to participate in building their own country. You send the common police, the common gendarmes, and the common military against them, torture them. You talk about building Cameroon with Cameroonians and for Cameroonians, but you are arresting Cameroonians who are standing up against malpracticing. You are taking them to Condenge prison. Look at this guy that you took from Gandara, who exposed a CPT militant who was in possession of thousands of national identity cards. Where is the guy today? He stood up and cried out against corruption. That is nation building. You put him in prison. So which kind of Cameroon are they going to be, and who are those to be that Cameroon that will stand tall for people to be jealous of, or for Cameroonians to be jealous of the freedom that they have? Which freedom is in Cameroon, where all media are being censored, punishing every day, giving them sanction every day for talking against the government, not insulting the government, but saying the truth to the government, and they are being arrested or tortured, sanctioned, and people tortured and killed for speaking out against the malpractices and the things the government is doing that are not right. Which kind of Cameroon are you talking about? That Cameroonian will build, that will stand tall, when you old men refuse to go? Look at the president of the National Assembly. Look at the president of the Senate. Look at the president of the Constitutional Council. Look at the general directorate or general director of the police. Look at all the old men, the youth, in which many people say they are the leaders of tomorrow. Where are they today? They are wandering, moving from one place to another, crying because of hardship under your leaders. This particular statement should not be coming out from people like President Paul Biya, because they are behind the maltreatment and all the division in Cameroon. You use the style of the colonial master to trample upon, occupy a territory, and divide Cameroonians into different groups, a brothers against brother, and then you are coming to ask them to overcome the artificial divisions created by colonization. How can they forget it? They forgot it in 1961, voted to join and form a nation, powerful, but you and Amadou Ahidjo decided to destroy that union, create another